Hey Charlie, it's Tanta Heidi, and today I'm reading Ant and Grasshopper by Luli Gray. It's an old time fable story, has a lesson at the end, definitely about not being lazy. Looks like it's kind of a newer book that was written and illustrated and retold from years and years. I bet your great great grandparents heard this story. Ant and Grasshopper. Ant was rich. His house was very grand with many rooms, and the storeroom was his favorite. All through the spring and summer, he worked hard gathering things to eat for the winter, and every afternoon he went to the storeroom to count them. Very organized. Type A personality. By June, he had 947 beans, 28 raisins, and a fine, smelly wedge of yellow cheese. 945, he counted, 946, 947. And then he took exactly 3 bites of cheese. Delicious, he said, and began to count his raisins. You could tell Miss Auntie Tanta Heidi did her hair today because it's Auntie Missy's birthday party, and I'm going to her farm with the horses and the goats, and we're going to have a really nice time. There's a country band, so hopefully I can make it. It's been 2 weeks of being sick, so I'm excited to actually see people and maybe have a little bit of fun. So you'll meet Auntie Missy very soon. It'll be so fun, and all your other cousins. Oh my gosh, you have so many people to meet. I'll talk to you in a minute. One day he sat counting. He heard a noise. Shh, he said, I'm counting. The noise went on, and when he opened the door, and there on his own land stood a grasshopper playing a fiddle. Well, I never, said the ant. Well, I always, said the grasshopper. It's June, Ant. The sun is warm, the sky is blue. Come out and dance. I'll play for you. Humph, said the ant. You should be storing up food for the winter, not fiddling around, wasting time. You know, something tells me that these opposites might attract, maybe they'll be friends. I don't know. A lot of times that happens. Yeah. All summer long, Ant worked hard. Every afternoon, he counted his beans and his raisins and his cheese. And all summer long, he heard Grasshopper playing his fiddle and singing. Sometimes the music got into Ant's head and made him lose count. 24, no, 26. Oh, drat that hopper grass. Well, I think they're both on the opposite ends of the extreme here. Can they meet in the middle? Can they compromise? We'll see. September came. It was harvest time, and Ant added to his rich store. He had 604 kernels of corn, 72 peanuts, and a piece of ham bigger than he was. Delicious and no nutritious, he said. Well, come, ye thankful creatures, come sing a song of harvest home. All is safely gathered in ere the winter storms begin, sang the grasshopper, peeking in the window. Oh, hush, said the ant, yanking down his shade. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the grasshopper. I don't think Ant can eat all that food by himself anyway. I just don't think he can. And the grasshopper is going to be hungry. Will Ant share? Is it nice to share? Mm-hmm. Will Ant share? That is the big question. October came with bright leaves tumbling on a breeze that carried a promise of winter. And Ant sat fidgeting at his desk, trying to add up his accounts. But his pen kept making swans out of the twos and fat snowmen out of the eights, and the numbers hopped around in his head, refusing to settle down. Look at all those silly numbers. They look kind of pretty. I think Grasshopper is influencing him. Oh, I hope you like this filter because it really gets rid of my wrinkles. Look at that. I hardly look wrinkly at all. I know. I have ADHD today. I have way too much coffee. 604 kernels of corn gathered on a summer morn. No, 7 ounces of ham. Yes, ma'am. Oh, for heaven's sake. What is wrong with me? He heard a tap, tap, tapping and flung open the door. Who do you think it is? I think you know. It's going to be Grasshopper because Grasshopper wants food. Oh, Aunt, let me in. There's a good fellow. It's getting cold and I'm so hungry. Ding, ding, ding. Ha, said Aunt. I knew it was you with your fiddle-dee-doo. I warned you. You danced and sang all summer while responsible folk worked hard for a living. And it serves you right. Good night. He slammed the door and went back to counting. That looks like a lonely life with numbers. Can't do all the same thing your whole life. November blew in, cold and blustery. Woo! Cried the wind, rattling the windows, while Aunt paced back and forth. I'm sure I don't know what's gotten into me, he muttered, and he sat down by the fire watching the flames dance up the chimney. I wonder, said Aunt. I wish the clock struck 10. Bong, 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 bong. Bong, 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 bong. Aunt went to bed. What do you think he's wishing for? Do you think he might be wishing for a friend? For somebody to be with him over this long winter? It's possible. But fragments of rhyme and wisps of music jangled about in his head, and he thrashed and kicked till the bedclothes were all in a tingle. When at last he fell asleep, he dreamed he stood on a stage before a great crowd, and he shouted, play, dance, sing. That a crowd was screaming, play, dance, sing, and he couldn't play a note or dance a dance. He opened his mouth to sing, but there wasn't one song in him. No song at all. I wonder who could help him learn how to sing. Could Grasshopper help him? I can't. I'm an ant. Boo, roared the crowd. Boo. The cold-hearted, hateful booing blew Ant right out of bed. With a bump, he woke up. The night had grown quiet, too quiet, thought Ant. He ran to the door, and there was, on the step, lay the grasshopper, barely visible under a thick layer of snow. Have a heart, Mr. Ant. Have a heart. I think he's going to have a heart. Grasshopper, is that you? Said Ant. What are you doing? Get up, go home. Don't have home, said Grasshopper, his teeth chattering. No home, exclaimed Ant. I've never heard of such a thing. After a moment, Ant dragged Grasshopper into the house, where he laid him by the fire in a second-best peanut shell. Cold, Grasshopper said, shivering. Oh, yes, indeed, poor fellow. Have some hot cider, said Ant. But Grasshopper was shivering too hard to swallow. Here, said Ant, here are 5 delicious beans and 3 bites of nutritious cheese and 2 more delicious raisins. Well, Grasshopper was shivering too hard to eat. Is it too late? Is it too late for Grasshopper? Is he too cold to do anything? Oh my goodness, let's see what happens. Ant tucked a dandelion down quilt around Grasshopper. I didn't know, Ant said. I had no idea. I didn't mean. Grasshopper's eyes opened, and he looked up at Ant. Hello, Ant, he said. Achoo! Bless you, said Ant, wiping the sneeze off his face. Bless you, said Grasshopper. Did I hear you mention beans and raisins? There he is with his little puffy, sick eyes. He's waking up. It wasn't too late. That's a good thing. It's never too late to make a difference, right? This story is much different than the first one. In the first one, there was a lot more anger. It's like, you can't eat my food. But look, he's growing a nice heart. All through the winter, Grasshopper stayed with Ant, playing and singing every evening. When Ant was done counting, one evening As the old year drew to a close, the two friends sat by the fire. Now they're friends. Look at them sitting. Aw. 1,142, said Aunt, closing an account book with a sigh. Sometimes, he said, sometimes I wish I could sing. Just a bit, you know. Sing, said Grasshopper. Anyone could sing. But working hard and counting are splendid things. Why, you saved my life with your 11 jillion beans, raisins, and corn. 1,142, actually, said Aunt, including peanuts. But anyone can count. Not me, said Grasshopper. He played a chord on his fiddle. Don't you know, here we come a waffling? Well, he sang 3 times through, and then rather shyly and, to tell the truth, quite off key. Aunt joined in. So I think Grasshopper is teaching Ant how to sing. I wonder if Ant will teach Grasshopper how to count so that they could both have a compromise and have balanced lives. I'm thinking this might happen. Here we come a waffling with syrup and with jam. Here we come to dance a jig and eat a lot of ham. Pizza joy come to you, made of pickles, mice, and glue. And we wish you a squishy and squish you a happy new year. And we wish you a happy new year. I wish I could sing like you, said Ant. I love the way you sing, said Grasshopper. I wish I could count. Oh, Grasshopper, said Ant. Everybody counts. And this is a play on words. Because at first he didn't think Grasshopper counted because he was just being lazy and singing, but he didn't realize that was his gift. And everyone counts because everybody matters. Isn't that a nice message? So this book is definitely different than the regular Ant and Grasshopper book. I'll try to find it so I can read that old one to you and we can compare notes. But it depends on how much caffeine I've had. I've had 3 cups today, so that's why I talk a lot. Ah! I love you. Good night, Charlie.